ಸುರಗುರುಂ ವಂದೇ ಜಗತ್ಕಾರಣಂ ವಂದೇ ಪನ್ನಗಭೂಷಣಂ ಶಶಿಧರಂ ವಂದೇ ಪಶೂನಾಂ ಪತಿಂ ವಂದೇ ಸೂರ್ಯಶಶಾಂಕವನ್ನಿನಯನಂ ವಂದೇ ಮುಕುಂದಪ್ರಿಯಂ ವಂದೇ ಭಕ್ತಜನಾಶ್ರಯಂ ಚ ವರದಂ ವಂದೇ ಭಕ್ತಜನ ಆಶ್ರಯಂ ಚ ವರದಂ ವಂದೇ ಶಿವಂ ಶಂಕರಂ. Friends, yoga has a scientific base which is rational, objective, firm, strong and permanent. This scientifically based yoga has the spiritual sublimity as its goal. From the basis of science, we move to the spiritual heights. Scientific revelations and spiritual findings are one and the same. Example, Einstein's finding theory of relativity, Adi Shankara's finding theory of relative reality. Shankaracharya is a spiritual person, Einstein is a scientific individual. Whether it is science or spirituality, the findings are one and the same. The theory of relativity of Einstein and the theory of a relative reality of Adi Shankara. Yoga has at the base scientific truth, at the end spiritual truth. Both are to be experimented with, both are to be experienced, and both are to be enjoyed. In between the scientific base and the spiritual sublimity, there are many layers. One is physical, the lowest. The performance of asanas, the performance of Surya Namaskars, physical movements, the exercises, they are all for the physical health at one point of time. And these physical exercises must be supported by the psychological exercises as well. And that psychological need is paramount, where we have to be moral, we have to be ethical, and then we move on to the social applications. Yoga has the social relevance, and we then move on to the intellectual insights. From there, we fly to the spiritual heights. Some people take only the scientific base and explain yoga. Some people take only the psychological aspects and describe yoga. Some other people take only the intellectual dimensions, and there are people who confine themselves only to the spiritual heights. Whereas yoga is applicable at the social level as well. The society which takes to the path of yoga is always peaceful. The society who observes yoga will lead a healthy, harmonious life. And among these yogas, the king is Raja Yoga. Raja means king. And this Raja Yoga is the basis for all the practices of other yogas. This king of the yogas is propounded by Patanjali, propagated by Swami Vivekananda, and being taught by Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samsthana. The origin is in Bhagavad Gita. The seed is in Bhagavad Gita. It is taken up by Patanjali. It has become a plant there. And Swami Vivekananda has taken it, fostered it, he has grown it to a tree. And that tree of Raja Yoga has spread its branches all over the world under the banner of Swami Vivekananda Yoga Anusandhana Samsthana. This Raja Yoga is a king because it sharpens our willpower. It strengthens our willpower. It makes us firm. It makes us strong. How, sir? Every person born on this earth has the willpower. Yoga does not give anything which we do not have. The child is born and it is lying on its back. It has this strong willpower using which it tries to sit up. When it sits up, it is not satisfied. It uses its strength of the willpower, tries to stand up. When once it stands up, it is not pleased with that, satisfied with that, it begins to walk. It begins to run. It begins to rise. It begins to go to the top. That urge to rise, urge to be strong is willpower. In righteous direction or unrighteous direction, even a thief has the willpower. A dacoit has the willpower. Child has the willpower. This hidden willpower is directed properly on the righteous track by yoga. And this willpower is used for the welfare of mankind by yoga. And every person takes a decision. Decision-making capacity is available in us. When we go to a hotel, there is a menu card. There are 15 items shown on the menu card. We read them and we decide to take one. In the marriage market, there are many girls seen and shown, and among the thousands of girls, a boy selects, decides, determines to marry one. That is willpower. There are many yoga centers. A candidate studies all the yoga centers, decides to come to Prashanti Kutir. Decision-making capacity. While taking food, while taking the journey program, while taking the food items, everywhere we use that decision-making capacity. That decision-making capacity is willpower. And that willpower, that decision-making capacity is essential right from the child to the Prime Minister of India, to the Governor General, to the Army General. Everybody has that. And the greatness of a yogi lies in taking this split-second decision-making capacity. In army, we have to decide in a fraction of a second what is to be done. And in life, certain decisions are to be taken very carefully, very intelligently. That decision-making capacity will be correct. It will be firm. It will be noble. It will be righteous if only we practice yoga. So let us not think that yoga is applicable only to the physical health. No, it is only a part. A yogi's decisions will be correct. Sri Ramachandra Prabhu's decision is always right. Sri Krishna Paramatma's decision is always correct. If we practice yoga, if we observe the moral code of conduct, if we follow the discipline of yoga, our decisions are not likely to fail. Why? In a fraction of a second, we are able to project our imagination. The pros and cons of the decision will be visualized, and the right decision at the right time righteously will be taken, dharmic decision will be taken. Bhishma, the stalwart spiritual giant in Mahabharata, has taken a decision. He wanted his father to be happy. He wanted to celebrate his father's marriage. In a split second, he was able to take the decision, I will not marry to facilitate the marriage of my daddy. And he stuck to the decision. And that is willpower. When Vamana, the dwarf, came, asked him for 3 square feet of land, Bali Chakravarti took a decision, I shall give him. And Harishchandra Maharaj has taken a decision, I shall not tell a lie. Recently, Mahatma Gandhi took a decision, I shall speak always the truth and I will be a champion of non-violence. And Swami Vivekananda took a decision when he was the Parivrajaka Acharya not to accept money from anybody's hand, not to beg for alms, not to preserve food for the night. Never did he depend upon anybody. And that decision-taking capacity is the fruit of Raja Yoga. In our houses, while choosing the career, while choosing the partner, we are to take the right decision at the right time, and that strength of mind, that willpower, that decision-making capacity is but the fruit of yoga practice. Let us not think that yoga gives us only smartness, slimness, and we need not go to beauty parlor, etc. No, it gives us a very great capacity. And then the second aspect of Raja Yoga is not only decision making, but not repenting or regretting after taking the decision. Bhishma never regretted. There were temptations. Very many beautiful girls tried to lure him and they tried to drag him into the net of matrimony. Bhishma said no. His stepmother Satyavati Devi asked him to marry. No. His brothers' wives were offered to him. No. Amba threatened. No. There will be temptations. There will be threats when once you take a decision. And you remain firm, strong to hold on to your decision. Never do you yield to the temptations, and that is the fruit of yoga. You find Bali Chakravarti was asked by Sukracharya not to make a charity to Vamana. Nothing doing. I shall do it. Satya Harishchandra was threatened by Vishwamitra. He was put to tests and tribulations. 50,000 years he was a great king. 10,000 years before, 40,000 years later, in between 2 years of tests and tribulations, the period of test was only 2 years. The fruit was for 50 years and he was firm, he enjoyed. Any person who takes a decision may have to face the tests and tribulations. They are not shaken. Gandhiji was put to tests. He did not move. He remained firm. How many problems did Swami Vivekananda face? His 2 sisters committed suicide. His family was in utter poverty. There was no food for the night. Even the house in which he was living was not to be given to him because it was in a court of law. His cousins went to the court and filed a suit. Still, Swamiji remained, he never regretted. Very many people in life live in regrets. I am a fool to have married that girl. Marriage is only for a day or a particular muhurta. Before that marriage, and 15 days honeymoon, honey drips away, moon fades away, and the rest of the life, I am a fool to have married. I am a fool to have married. She also feels, I am a fool to have married this rascal. I am a fool to have married this rascal. 90% of the people who are non-yogis live in regret. Yogi never regrets. Yogi never feels sorry for the decisions he has taken. He holds on to the decision boldly, strongly, like a lion. That's why it is called Raja Yoga. Let us not think of other things in social life, in private life, in family life, in the domestic life. Two things are very, very important. One is strong willpower to take the decision. Two, having taken the decision, hold on to the decision, never regret. Ayyo, I am a fool to have come to Maitri Milan. I don't know when he stops, rascal, he is bombarding. Regret. Examinations, regret. Somebody does MBA with the hope that he would get a decent job. He doesn't get. I'm a fool. Instead of going to MBA, I must have gone to some other course. Regret. This regret does not come to a yogi. Face the brute. Face the problem. You may do anything, but feeling sorry for the decision you have taken is not the quality of a yogi. We become diffident, we become weak, and we fail, fall. Therefore, Raja Yoga consists of two factors. Having come to Prashanti, having been in Maitri Milan, let us cultivate that habit of strong decision-making capacity. As a housewife, as a husband, as a child, as a career maker, everywhere we require that decision-making capacity. And once you decide, never regret. You may think of changing, but not with sorrow. You may find out a better alternative, but not with sorrow. Let us not feel sorry. A yogi is always a lion. The lion is a lion when it is in the cage. The lion is a lion when it is in the forest. An elephant, while alive is costly, while dead also it is costly. Wherever we are, a lion is a lion, an elephant is an elephant, a yogi is a yogi. Yogi is known to be a Raja Yogi if he has that strong decision-making willpower, holding on to the decision, and also finally, never do I regret. Never do I feel sorry for the decisions I have taken. I may improve upon it, I may face the problem, I may solve the problem. That is the strength. Having come to Prashanti, having been in Maitri Milan, let us go back as lions to our houses, not sheep. Let us not be cowardly. Swami Vivekananda wanted everybody to be a lion, and that's why he shouted at the top of his voice, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Let us be lions, and Sri Ramachandra Prabhu is Nararishabha. Sri Krishna Paramatma is Narasimha. Let us try to be in the footprints of the great yogis of this country. Let us meditate on them.